evening, everyone. Just the two of you that are here so far. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm just busy setting everything up at the moment. Welcome everyone, you're just in time for some qualifying. Looks like they're about to get underway. I'm just waiting to see if anyone's going to join me because a couple of the admin are busy with power failures and internet problems and all the usual kind of things that drive us mad. So just to clue you in and chat a little bit, what we're doing, this is our first live stream of a Pool 1 race on Thursday nights after the other pools in the league race. We have a couple of admin in this pool. We've got Vanna, RTA Vanna 77, we've got Yasteel 27, we've got a couple of the guys from RTA as well, Donkey and Leap. Then we have KBR Varvartifice, sorry. We've got Callum Pace, R. Davids, Galtieri 911, that's Lorenzo. We have MJ Ninja, Ghost Killer Pace, another Pace member, KBR DKP, and Serious Sam. Let's go to the track and see how qualifying goes. Everyone's on their out lap. Mr. Pace Senior, good to see you here. How did your race go? I think we're going to see we're up to 6 people in the lobby. Just say hi so I can see who it is. Good evening, Mansell. Mohammed. Sorry, looks like they were just having a quick test before the race start, and we are doing qualifying start now. Some Racer-Dean, welcome. I'll add you back to the WhatsApp groups, and we're actually on Discord at the moment, so anyone who hasn't joined Discord yet, feel free to. I'm just going to jump out here quickly to add someone to the chat party before we see the actual qualifying. They're all on their out laps. So we'll be back in just a second. Sorry about that. Mr. Eminem, great to have you here. That was quite a nice race we had earlier. I tried not to hold you up too much. Mr. Ron, great to see you here. Hope you're keeping well. Everyone's just starting their first flying lap of qualifying. R. David's out in front, rocking a white and black Red Bull Racing livery. We've got RTA Donkey 27, Stefan Vessels, our Season 2 and Season 4 champion from last year. Serious Sam, one of the guys to watch out for tonight. Seriously Quick on controller should be his name. MJ Ninja, Kalen Pace with that strange Mercedes-Benz livery. Apparently it adds half a second. RTA Leap 33, Cornet. We've got JOO Pace. KBR Valves Varta Fis. Ghost Killer Pace also rocking the Merc livery. KBR DKP. RTA Vanna. We've got DMR SMP3 Pro, one of the DMR guys, followed by Galtieri 911, Yasteel, and MUFC Monty, who wouldn't want me to mention our soccer team's 2-1 loss last night, but unfortunately those things happen. First guy should be coming across the line, so I'm just going to shift. We've got a 39.1 from R. Davids. Donkey was 3/10 quicker. MJ Ninja 3/10 slower. Leap on a 39.7. Serious Sam obviously had an issue that lap, as did Kalen. Guys went and fitted new tyres. Goniwe, JOO Pace. DKP going quickest, 38.1, is absolutely flying. Hello Anthony, hello Willie, watching you guys in the comments. I see we got 18 guys online, so don't feel shy. I'm just waiting for my co-commentator to join me, but we're quite happy to have a little chat with the guys in the comments while we're done. Agree with Garrett there. Mr. Psycho Pace, press the like button, hit subscribe on the channel. Obviously you'll be able to see a few more of our streams in future going forward. Hopefully I'll have some co-commentators. Some of the front runners coming in to put on some tyres for a quick splash and dash at the end, outlap, and possibly they'll get another 1, maybe 2 laps in. I did try it in qualifying. If you're really lucky, you could squeeze 2 fast laps in after pitting, but 4 minutes to go. I think it might be a bit of a tight squeeze for these guys. We've got Donkey on a 38.8 at the moment, Ghost Killer Pace 39.0, R. Davids 39.1, DMR SMP3 Pro 39.2, Valve Artist. Yeah, we'll get there. Vast Artifice every time. SimRacer Dean's asking about, remember to lock the weight and power. We're running GRX cars, so BOP is off, but these cars, the SF Super Formulas, do run 100% on both, so The only thing you could actually change on here is to lower your power and raise your weight, which wouldn't be beneficial to anyone. Just going to scroll through some of the guys so you can see the times they're doing. AM Racing saying he really wants Deaky to take it this season. It's his time. The kid's flying, so there's a very good chance of that. I think we're going to see quite a battle here up front today, though. We've got visuals for you today. I don't know how great the commentary is going to be because seem to be a lone ranger here. I'm just trying to sort it out, but unfortunately with the PSN changes I can't exactly leave the screen here to go and invite some people in, and they're battling. 37.8 by Deaky. He's not going to be able to complete another lap, so that looks like his final time. Donkey's on a 38.4, currently second. Unfortunately just lost it there, so that's him out of it. Kalen's on an out lap, so I don't think he'll be able to make it through. So I'm at 10 seconds. I don't think it's either this or during the race. So. Sorry about that. Kalen stays third. Looks like we've got Sam in fourth. We'll get a quick run through the grid. DKP, Donkey, Kalen Pace, Sirius Sam, Vars Varta Fist, Galtieri, Ghost Killer Pace, SMP3 Pro. We then have R. Davids, Leap, JOO Pace, MJ Ninja, Monty, Vanna, and Yasteel. So we're going to keep it on the front for the start here. Everyone that raced early will know it's quite tricky from about 11th or 12th place because you start in the chicane and hopefully don't spin. Looks like we're off. Clean start. DKP leads into the first corner, closely followed by Donkey. This guy's absolutely flying. You can see already opening up a small gap. Got a bit more of a train here. Donkey with Kalen behind, Sirius Sam, KBR, Fast Farter Fuss. speed out to 1.1 seconds. Donkey keeping the 0.6 from Kalen. Interesting where the guys use the boost tonight. I think this is going to be a one-stop race. The tyres are seem to last pretty well. Fuel's not really an issue for the one-stop, so I expect most of the guys to be going down for the one-stop between lap 7 and 8. Pace hits the curb and has an unfortunate spin. That's going to be quite a long way back from there. A small collision with Vanna back to the front. The gap's sitting at a second. It looks like Sean, Mr. Skitty 1, has joined the chat. I don't know if you can hear it. I can hear you. Guys, just shout if you can hear Skitty. I think that wasn't far off my best lap. No, I think I did a 40.8, but yeah, that's flying from the standing start. Just check your party settings on this profile, Sean. The guys say they can't hear you. Also turn your mic volume up. Donkey just closing by a tenth or two on DKP. He's got a 1.8 second gap over Sam at the moment. We're going to go down the order. 1.3 back to Lorenzo. Ghost Killer another second back. DMR SMP3 Pro 7 tenths behind. Seems like we've got a lot of these 8 to 1.2 second gaps forming. First, as Ruan pointed out in the comments, he likes to be called Fuss. I can hear you a little bit louder. Guys, just shout in the comments. Leap having a nice battle, throwing a move up the inside of Fuss into the Casio triangle chicane. Fuss back and R. David's going through Ganiwe as well, so that didn't go too well. Overshooting, losing 3 places, or 2 places plus the place he made. We've got MJ Ninja, Monty, Yastiel, Vanna, and then Kalen bringing up the rear after the spin on lap 1. Yeah. Are you there, Ron? Sean? Ron's saying what I said just now. Just check your party settings for sharing. 38.4 on the first flying lap by DKP. I think that probably would have put him about 3rd on the grid on the qualifying with a full tank of fuel. Sean has done commentary with us before, but on his other profile, so I'm guessing he's just checking quickly if the settings are the same on this one. Sam's just fading off the back of the front two, breaking away. Gap still just under a second. Sam's
that should be sorted out now, I think.
Okay, let's hope. Lorenzo currently in 4th. Possibly what a lot of guys will be doing here, yourself as a Pool 1 driver in previous seasons, possibly even trying to save a little bit of fuel, conserve their tyres. Some people might not be using boost while others are, so it will all shake out in the end, but the strategy,
yeah,
like
in the beginning of this race, I think the boost will be used very sparingly. I think until we start seeing the first round of pit stops, most cars will stay off the boost.
Yeah, it makes sense to keep it not only for attack at the end, but if you are being attacked yourself, it's probably the best form of defense. We've got one of the DMR guys, Mr. SMP3 Pro, just maintaining the gap behind Ghost Killer and pulling away from KBR Fist.
Of course, one thing to take into account with these cars is that it leaves a big wake behind it. So a lot of dirty air. So especially through the more technical sections, the following car is really going to battle.
I just want to say to the 41 of you that are watching currently, good to have you. Hit the like button, subscribe. I just also wanted to have a quick chat and thank our sponsors, TGN Racing Simulators, and they're putting up a nice prize for this end of season Pool1, a voucher for a 10,000 Rand sim rig, and then also some vouchers for Auto Art, which is sponsored by the same couple. Sorry, I've got a bit of feedback here. It's just giving me a bit of a headache. The wall art is done by Track Art. They do all your local and a lot of international circuits 3D printed that you can put up in your wall in your man cave or your sim racing room. Put it in your lounge if the wife's happy with it. They also sponsored the Track Art for our ladies league, so the wives might be putting it up in the lounge without the husband's permission. But yeah, great to have some sponsors on board. Thank you to Vanna and his wife. It's about time we had some sponsors come to the leagues. Sim racing obviously took off quite well last year, so let's support the guys, TGN Racing Simulators and guys at Track Art. I keep wanting to call them Auto Art, I don't know why. I think with the miniature cars. Nice battle going on here, 8th to 11th. We will go back to the front shortly. I just was looking to see what was going to happen between Ninja and Goniwe, JOO pace.
Jay getting a little bit out of shape coming off Degner. Gave MJ Ninja a run on him and a nice pass into the hairpin.
Definitely. R. Davids, I think he's just hanging in there. I was actually in a practice lobby with him and his pace was in the mid 39, so I don't know if it's pressure or the traffic, most likely like you said the dirty air just now.
Yeah, and the longer you sit behind the other cars, the more your front tires wear. So
R. David's just lost it big time in the chicane. He's recovering right to the back of the field. I see Kalen's moved up to 13. While we're away from the front, DKP's opened the gap from 1 to 2 seconds. Another 2 seconds to Sam. 3.5 to Lorenzo. Lorenzo and Ghost Killer seem to be having quite a nice dice with SMP3 Pro right behind, so let's stay on this for a little while. Already we 6 laps into the 18 lap race. Lorenzo getting a penalty there. I hope he remembers that he has to burn that off before he crosses the start-finish line. We'll just have to watch there.
So it's been quite an interesting introduction over the last 2 seasons, where guys have to burn off their penalties before the end of the following lap. It's really brought a different aspect into the racing.
Yeah. Do you think it's different? Not different, better than the previous way where guys were just able to scrub it off at any old corner as they went, even if
I definitely do think it's a better approach. It's more a realistic way of racing as well.
There you go. Lorenzo burning his penalty and causing all sorts of chaos in the middle of the chicane. I think Corner was actually chatting about that on our team group earlier, but it seems to have come out all well. Might be.
Yeah, I think on Suzuka it's particularly difficult.
Great racing
off some
there.
corners where it's difficult to burn your penalty off the line at Suzuka.
Yeah, I think Lorenzo did the clever way and tried to do it going through the chicane, but how close is the racing between these three?
Yeah, it's been really good, and some good respect shown between them. I mean, no one's really taking an unnecessary dive. So yeah, good patience being shown.
SMP3 Pro just went a little bit wide there. And Ghost Killer
SMP3
pace.
in the prime spot that you pick up the pieces if things go wrong.
Yeah, sorry, I'm probably a couple seconds ahead of you guys with the. I'm watching it live, and YouTube always seems to have a 20 or 30-second delay.
It's not quite so much. Yeah.
I saw ATM on the chat mentioning that he'd like to get involved with sponsoring. You can just chat to admin at a later date tomorrow. Send me or Josh or any of the guys a message on WhatsApp, and we'll chat. Here we have Lorenzo and SMP3 Pro still battling away. Unfortunately for Ghost Killer Pace, he had a bit of an incident coming out of Degner too. KBR Fist is closing the gap quite quickly to these two while they're fighting, so we could have a three-way fight again pretty shortly. If you look at the rear of the cars, where those fog lights are, if you are using the boost, it will actually, the brake light or the rain light in the middle and on the wing of the end plates of the rear wing will be lit up when you're using boost. Also on the front of the roll bar you'll see a green glow. It's just something to look out for. Mikhail Paul, how's it going? I see you in the chat all the way from the US of A. We miss having you on track in the Pool 1 races. Kendall just asking about the burning. It was half a second when he went into the second last corner, and he was coasting into the chicane. It was about 0.2 when he went in there. I saw he was ghosted, but the rules were that you have to do it before the end of the lap. So for example, if we see someone here getting a penalty for cutting the chicane, they would obviously have to then slam on brakes, which could be tricky.
And of course the option is always there for the competitors to log a complaint if they feel that they were impeded by that action.
Yeah, that as well. Fortunately there, it seemed like Lorenzo was ghosted, and I can't remember if it was SMP3 Pro or Ghost Killer Pace, but the driver that was there actually was driving inside his car, so there was no collision. But yeah,
so Deke looks like he's starting to take a bit of control in this one. He's just edging Donkey by, looks like maybe 2 or 3 tenths a lap so far.
I can see on their last lap they're separated by a tenth, but yeah, overall gaps out to 2.8. Sam's hanging in there nicely, then quite a big gap, 10 seconds back to Lorenzo.
Yeah, I think the battling that Lorenzo and SMP3 Pro have been having has dropped them off this battle a little bit. I think if they tried to work with each other a little bit more, it could have kept them closer to the front battle.
Yeah, definitely. It's sometimes better to work tactical. In my Pool 4 race just now, which I was very bad at, I managed to bring home, I think it was 10th, by not fighting with 1 or 2 guys that went off ahead of me. So when they caught up, I just let them pass, use their slipstream and pulled away from the guys behind, just to maintain my position rather than fighting and losing time to the guys that I was racing with. We have this battle for 4th and 5th still going on. Actually, let's follow on SMP3 Pro.
Yeah, he's nice and close. I think you'll have a run on him into 130R. Let's see if Jerry defends the inside for this.
Correct. Going around the outside of that chicane never works. If you ask Prost, you get centered. I'm just going to jump to the battle behind because MJ Ninja and Goniwa are also having a great battle here. The chat still talking about the penalty. It isn't a perfect system. What we really want is Gran Turismo should just put the penalty gate in like they have on sports mode or FIA races, which would make life so much simpler.
Of course, that would be ideal. Yeah.
Last year, as we said, we brought you have to burn the penalty off within the next lap of finishing, but we obviously had to adjust that rule slightly, so it was by the end of the lap. The lap you got it on was our decision for this year. Idea being that instead of driving for a lap and a half or almost 2 laps, coasting into 1 or 2 corners and burning it off efficiently, at most you'd only be able to come up to the line and not cross it without burning.
So it looks like we've had our first couple of pit stops start happening with Diki dropping down to 4th now. Donkey stayed out a lap longer.
What Diki would like to do is clear SMP3 Pro quite quickly. With Diki being able to run in the 38s, SMP's last lap was a 41 and he was running in the 40s. He probably will be pitting now, is my guess. Let's just check. There he goes. So it's clear track for Diki. Donkey's in, Leap's in, Goniwe's in. So we'll have a bit of a shakeout. I see Sam's the only one that of the front 3 that hasn't stopped yet. That will give him a bit of an advantage towards the end with the fresh tyres, but the other guys would have been undercutting him on the laps.
Depends on how much he loses on this last in-lap.
Correct.
If he has been quite hard on his tyres, it might cost him.
We can see he's actually doing brilliantly. His tyres still look fairly new and he's doing 38.9s. He's going to have to stop this lap with his fuel flashing. But the pace has been really good. Just to give you an
really
idea.
Consistent, everything within like a 3/10 of one another. That's a solid stint.
Yeah, DKP with a 37.6 on his last lap. Obviously, that was the out lap, best race lap of 37.9, but he's on a fly now. He's 12 seconds behind Sam. Pit stop time was about 18 to 20 seconds, depending on how much fuel. So let's just go ahead to Sam, and he should be pitting. 11 laps completed, 7 remaining, and he jumps in there. We see.
Did we? I think we lost one racer. Maybe Lorenzo disconnected.
No, 15 still showing on my screen.
Oh, okay.
I think Lorenzo pitted in or had an incident. We'll go back there. With the pit stops and fuel, Diki now has a 5.6 second gap. So he's actually.
Yeah, he's gained about 2.5 seconds in this pit stop.
Sam's actually managed to jump Donkey, so it seems like staying out longer might have been a better option, but also possibly the amount of fuel that was being used. We can see Sam still has a lot of boost left. Donkey's is almost finished. That's Stefan, so he's going to be pretty hard to overtake Sam, with Sam having all the boost still to defend. Another person who hasn't used boost or hasn't got much boost left is Diki. So Sam's actually sitting in quite a strong position here with the lap fresher tyres. Then Donkey 2 laps, 2 laps fresher than Diki, and full tank of boost. Only problem is there's only 5.5 laps remaining, so he's going to have to start using that, which it looks like he has a little bit on this lap already.
Looking at the current standings as well, looks like SMP3 Pro, Ganiwe and Fast Water Fifth, they've all gained in the pit stops as well. Looks like Leap lost out a little bit in the pit stops.
Lorenzo dropped from 4th to 8th. He's still in a bit of a grouping there, but he's back with Ghost Killer pace. Obviously Lorenzo's had a bad lap somewhere. His 9th lap was a 2:03. That would have included his pit stop, but then he had
a couple of 41s in there. Yeah, that would have dropped him back quite a bit.
Yeah, those 40s and 41s earlier were when they were all battling, but the 39.8 on the last lap, I'm not too sure what happened. Just see what he does this lap. Another 40, so obviously having a bit of a harder time on the second stint. Kalen, after his spin at the start, he's right in this group. He's got past MJ Ninja, closing up onto the back of Ghost Killer Pace, his teammate. See a couple of the guys chatting about doing a 11 and 7 stint and being quicker. I think that's possibly just because you spend less time fueling.
Yeah, and then obviously you've got a pace advantage for those last 7 laps.
Definitely. So we've got Monty in 12th, Davis in 13th, Yastil in 14th, and Vanna in 15th. Vanna's 48 seconds behind, but if you look at the lap times, I see he had a constant 40s, 1 or 2 lower laps done at 38. That would probably be at the front of a couple of the pools right behind. So the difference between Pool 1 and the lower pools generally seems to be quite a big gap this year.
Yeah, I think it's could be something to do with the way you need to drive this car as well. I think some guys haven't got their head around it yet. Where a lot of the faster pool guys have adapted to it a lot better.
Definitely. I see Sam's gone through a bit more boost. He's only got a little bit more than DK at the moment, but he did manage to take out almost a second, setting the fastest lap of the race at 37.7.
That's seriously quick.
The thing with these Pool 1 guys, especially the front 3, I know when they were practicing, Sam, every time I went into a lobby, he was there doing laps. He practiced a lot of low fuel runs just for this kind of situation, fresh tyres and half a tank. And he also, when he did these sort of runs, he got faster as the tyres wore and the fuel burnt off. So we could still see that 37.7 broken. Deaky's responding now though with getting the gap back up to 4.3. We'll keep an eye on that. Donkey's another 1.5 behind Sam, also hanging in there. 11 seconds to SMP3 Pros on his own, in 4th at the moment. 4 and a bit laps to go. He's got over a quarter of his boost left, so if anyone does manage to catch up that 2.5 seconds, he should be able to defend. Goniwe in 5th, KBR 5th, running a strong 6. I'm sure he won't be too unhappy with that. Leap 7th. It looks like our best battle on field at the moment. Kalen's got past Ghost Killer pace and he's ready to attack Lorenzo, with MJ Ninja attacking Ghost Killer, getting past him there down the straight.
Quite a good battle forming here with four cars going for it.
Yeah, so we're going to keep our eye on it for a little while. MJ Ninja managed to sneak past Kalen there. Obviously when you attack, sometimes it leaves you open to the guy behind, especially when you're this close together.
Yeah.
So you've raced these guys quite a bit. What would you be thinking sitting in that group?
So many of them, they're really solid under pressure, so they don't really make mistakes under pressure. So it's really just staying as close as you can and hoping that you do force some kind of mistake.
I see Kalen looking up the inside of Ghost Ninja there, but being on the outside through the long right-hander doesn't work as well. That little battle between them's just given Lorenzo half a second. While there's a break in the fighting, I'm not sure what happened to Ninja. He's dropped back behind Monty.
So he just ran wide in Spoon. So let's let those guys all get past there.
I see we're about to start, or we're on our fourth last lap for these guys, going on to the third last now. 30 seconds behind the leader. Sorry, we've got some gaps, 5 seconds to R. Davids. Yeah, still 10 behind him and 5 ahead of Vanna. So we're just going to see what's happening at the front. Seems to be fairly stable with those gaps we spoke about earlier. Obviously,
looks like Sam has used the best of his tyres now, so he's now back into the 38s. Or he's just consolidating his second place.
Oh, look at this traffic jam. Something happened to pace while we were going through the front of the pack. I see he's dropped behind R. Davids, I think, down in 11th, 12th or 13th. 12th. Sorry, he's just ahead of M. Davids. He's just behind MJ Ninja. So the two that were fighting for 8th place are now fighting over 11th. But less than about...
maybe he had to serve a penalty.
Also possible.
Which would have dropped him down there, yeah.
So we have about 3 seconds separating 5 cars with just 2 laps to go. Going some action with Ghost Killer Pace and Lorenzo again into the Casio triangle. Lorenzo defends the inside. Nice and smooth, but that can slow your exit, so if Ghost Killer's got any boost left, he should consider using some of it. As you can see, the red light was on there, so no green lights for boost.
Yes,
Possibly Monty's just smiling as their fighting's bringing him right back into the picture. I think he was about 4 seconds behind. Lorenzo got a 1 second penalty there for a slight touch with Ghost Killer. I'm not too sure if there was maybe a track limit, but that's going to be unfortunate for him in this group.
Yeah, it didn't really look like any of them ran off track in that little bump. So that's just really one of those odd GT Sport penalties that pops up every now and then.
If I was him, I'd try to serve it into the chicane now while the two behind are fighting.
Normally it's pretty easy to serve the penalty into this
Monty served a penalty into the wall out of the hairpin. That's dropped him all the way back to 13th and out of the battle. Let's see where Kalen's sitting. Lorenzo still with his penalty. This is where I was saying being smart might actually be an idea.
Ghost Killer really doesn't have to force any issues, yeah?
Yeah.
He's going to have to serve his penalty, so there's no need to take a risk here.
Yeah, he did the right thing and just waited, got through. Looks like someone else at the back also had to serve a penalty. Kalen going up the inside of Lorenzo into the second part of the first corner, or second corner. So it's Kalen up to 9th. Final lap, so let's get back to the front. Gap's 3 seconds. Lap 17, a new fastest lap, 37.72 by Sam. Unfortunately, it's a little bit too little, but still great race by him, starting 3rd and closing within under 3 seconds of Deaky. A couple of corners to go for these front runners, and then we'll jump back to 4th onwards.
I kind of get the feeling that once Deaky built his gap, he could
control it.
Maybe run at about 95% instead of pushing all the way.
That's a second win on the row for him. Great drive by Sam and Donkey. Those guys all within 7 seconds at the end. Here we've got a bit more of a busy field. SMP3 Pro did lose quite a bit of his gap to Goniwe, coming over 5th. 5th and 6th, there was quite a big gap between those guys earlier. Leap a nice lonely 7th. Ghost Killer Pace 8th. Kalen Pace 9th place. Lorenzo 10th. MJ Ninja looks like he's just going to hold on from R. Davids and Monty. 14th place Yastiel. And Vanna bringing up the rear. And getting a penalty at the last chicane and showing you how it should be served instantly before you cross the line. Yeah, anyone, we've still got 53 guys on here. If you've got any questions, any suggestions for next week, sorry, we were a bit late. Josh and, or both Josh's and Ryan were supposed to, two of the four were supposed to commentate with me, but they had some issues, so thanks to Sean for joining. Apologies for you.
No problem.
You guys having to listen to me mostly. Hit the like button, subscribe to our channel. See everyone next week, and Skitty, your final thoughts.
Yes, I think definitely it's been a different outlook so far for the season. It's brought a couple of different names to the front of the field, and not necessarily names that we would have thought would be contending for the top spots on the podium.
Definitely. Well, I mean, Sam's always there in the top six. DKP, I think he finished third in season 3 last year.
Yeah.
He's always been one of the top 3-4 guys over the last year. Obviously, these cars seem a bit more suited, high downforce. Just looking through the list here, we've got some unusual names further down. Guys like Lorenzo finishing 10th. Obviously, Kalen had a spin and had to fight his way through the field. Vanner's normally in the top 10.
I think one of the tricks to running these cars is that it's very sensitive to using too much steering lock. So, and I think that's where maybe the guys with the controllers do have a slight advantage, is because you don't achieve full lock using the controller on the SF car. So where with the wheel you can throw on as much lock as you can. So you may pass that point of slip that you get from the tire.
Yeah.
And that just costs you overall pace, increases your tire wear. So it's something that the wheel drivers need to work on to get back onto the pace of the controller guys.
Definitely. Okay, I think that's all for us tonight. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see everyone back here next week, same time, race 3, and hopefully it's as close as that at the front. Thanks for watching, and see you next week. Thanks, Sean.
Thanks for watching, everyone.